Well, good afternoon, friends. This is Dave at Dave's Raised Bed Garden. I'm out here on April 11th. I'm out here at the garden this evening. It's a beautiful spring evening. It's kind of cool. It's not too bad. I think it got into the 70s today and everything, but I came out here to the garden. I do apologize, first of all, for not putting out videos before and everything and trying to get videos made and everything. I want to explain why. This winter was quite an eventful winter this year. One of the complications, as you can tell, I was looking at this door that I installed. It's actually a gate, but I installed it here last week. I had to get this up, and then also I've got new fencing around the garden. Also, you'll notice beyond my shoulders, behind my back, you'll notice that I put plastic down, and I'm doing a lot of things this year to try to just give some curb appeal that I'm looking to moving forward. And then also, as I go into my gardening season, getting ready for this year's seasons and everything, and getting my garden planted and getting it ready, and I'm hoping for a good season or seasons this year. And so that's why I'm moving forward and everything, and why I'm out here this evening is that I just want to explain to you why and what I'm doing and everything. And again, I want to apologize for not sending out videos before, but like I was saying, one of the issues that I had was that during the winter time, we leave the garden dormant. There's a lot of things I will let any coverage or anything that grows, the vegetables that I've had in there, the roots, I'll let them deteriorate and then get back into the soil, because of course I'm going to use that again as it breaks down and use it in my garden. Then I'll use it from my compost pile that I have also. But what happened this year, I guess it was during the time of rut, and we have on occasions, we have it yearly and everything, but we've seen a little bit of increase each year that we get deer that come around our yard, that comes and it goes into the orchard and comes out here and around the garden. Now for the past 3 years, they've never bothered my garden. I had a fencing up, which was it was like a mesh type fencing. It was a lower grade. What I mean by lower grade is that when they call about pressure, what that is that how much pressure that we get from deer. And so there's a certain poundage that we look at and everything when we put this type of fencing up. And so what I did is I increased the pressure withhold and everything. So what I'm trying to do is that when a deer come in here, that they won't try to push through here or try to get into it. And with that, what I had was what we call, it was basically like a 300-pound pressure to a 400-pound pressure. This that I have is actually, it's almost 700 pounds of pressure that this equivalates this fencing. That means that they push through it, they're not able to get to it, and then if their horns get tangled in there, there's a less of chance that it's going to get torn or anything. And of course, the next step, if this does not work, is that I will have to go up to regular galvanized or metal fencing, and if that gets to that place, that's a whole different ball game per se that I'm going to have to do for my garden and everything. Then what the plastic is down here for is that I'm going to be putting some wood chips, and what I mean by that is that there's a local company that what they do is they are a pallet company, and what they'll do is that they re-get you can take your pallets to them and everything, and what they'll do is that they will try to rebuild the ones that they get. But if the material is too bad, what they do with all the off-fall material, I guess you say, or the pallets that's broken, what they'll do is they'll grind it down, and they have a method that when they grind it down, it becomes like mulch or chips, shall I say. And then what they'll do is this is the stuff that you will see in parks, you'll see them on the playgrounds and a lot of stuff. And so you can get different types, meaning that you can get them in color or you can get them plain, and the color is just actually, what it does is just gives you curb appeal and everything. But because it's my garden, I want to keep it plain. Plus the other thing is that wood, it starts decaying and it starts degrading and it'll break down, and I will actually use it back in my compost for my garden. That's what I try to do. I try to use the leaves, the branches, the grass and everything, and I make compost for my garden. I know I have some people that have never gardened before that actually view our videos, and at Dave's Raised Bed Garden, our goal is not to be a professional gardener in aspect to where, you know, we know everything, but to give you a view what it is, basically what a basic gardener does. I want to give you, the viewer, what it really is like to be a new gardener, to be just a plain Joe, I guess you'd say, being in the garden, doing things, and the good and the bad and even the ugly. And just like I said, you know, it is a cost-effective situation that when you go in. But I'll tell you what, this is what I've learned over the years. You get in what you put out. Basically, how much time you spend in the garden, how much time you use, the material you use, the soil you use, everything you do. When you spend that or you put that time into that, you'll get more out of your garden. And that's what I want at Dave's Raised Bed Garden. But I want to show you exactly what I'm doing and to move forward. And then as from this video moving forward, is that I'll be showing you more things that I'm doing. I'll take you a walk through the garden, actually, you know, exactly what I'm doing, just like with the gate. I've put this new gate up, and then also what I'm doing about putting the chips around there. And there's several other things that I'll be doing also that I want to add to my garden and everything. So I'm going to take you out. I'm going to take you now and just actually show you what the garden looks like. So it still looks like a kind of a mess out here. You can tell I've got, this is the roll that I have the excess of the fencing that I used. I'll just try, I know it's the sun's going down and everything, but I'll kind of give you a view what I'm talking about. This fencing is a lot stronger. The material of it is a very strong, I guess you could call it a plastic, but it also has, it actually has nylon in it. And what it does is it's very strong and it's effective. And what it does is that the deer, you know, hopefully what it's going to do is that what it tells me is it'll keep the deer from coming out. The biggest issue that I would have is if the deer wanted to jump over. And like I said, these posts are 8 foot tall and I'm at 7.5 feet. What I have, if I have to add to it, I know a way or I have an idea that I will do to actually help that if I feel like the deer are coming in. The gate, of course, is that I wanted to do it a two-part method with the gate. This is a full-size gate. I've put it in here. It's easy to access. I can come in, I can have it hold open. I'm able to get my stuff in here and out and everything. And then what I'm able to do is that I'm able to put a lock on it to help keep, if there's unwanted guests or people that I don't want to be in the garden. So as I'm on the inside of the garden, when I started the video, I was showing you a little bit. These are some of my plants that I have planted. I've got lettuce, I've got beets. I also have collards, and then over there I have a different variety of cabbage. As you'll notice that all this plastic that I have down, I decided that I wanted to go this route because I want a curb appeal. Plus with the new fencing that I have up, plus with the gate, a few other things that I'm adding to my garden, I just think it's going to give me a better curb appeal. It's going to be easier for me to get out here and to work in the garden. But one other thing that I want to tell you about is that that when you're a new gardener and you're making your beds and everything, and whatever you're using, if you're doing traditional gardening or raised bed gardening or container gardening and everything, one of the aspects that you really need to watch out for is that the weeds that you have. Now this is the stuff that I'm having to deal with. I don't know the name of it. I will get the name of it, but I don't have it right now. And this stuff has just grown rapid. It's gone through my garden this year, and this winter we didn't have no snow or anything. So it was a warmer than usual. I would guess you say we did have some real cold temperatures, but it was a milder winter and everything. And with the milder temperatures and everything, weeds just don't seem like they die. These things were growing all winter long and everything. But the two aspects of the difference that what I did, now these 6 beds that you can see now, all the way down, these were my first beds that I started back in 2018. Now back then, that's when I had the open heart surgery and I got out here and I was doing therapy and doing all that. And then I really moved forward to try to get the beds in. And so I built these beds to start my gardening experience out on the raised bed experience. What I didn't do is that I did not put a barrier underneath the bottom of it. I just went in there, I put the boxes down, I tried to keep them as level as I could. I got the soil. The soil that I got was not the best because that year we were having a lot of problems. A lot of companies were not getting the compost that they need because it was a very wet season and they couldn't get it out and everything, and it wasn't doing right, so we were having a hard time getting it. But what I did get, I got the best that I could, and I got the cheapest basically for the cost and everything. And effectively what had happened was that I've had to work with it over the years. The difference is that the beds that I showed you that have the actual cool weather plants And then these two beds right here, the soil, I've got better soil in there. And I told you last year that I have two with just 100% bag soil, but then the other three that what I have is that I actually have compost that I actually purchased from a local company, and I'm very well pleased. The other difference is that this bed has a lot less growth of the weeds than these beds. These beds have a lot. So what I'm having to do, this will be the third time that I've come out here and tried to take care of these weeds. Now you can say, Dave, what you know, you could have sprayed it, you could have put plastic over it. Why didn't you do that? Well, I don't want to put sprays or anything down here in my garden. I've done that in the past going around the garden. That's why I chose to use the plastic, but I did not want to do that. But one thing that I've learned in my experience is that when I'm building a new bed, I'm going to make sure that underneath it I give a good amount or a good quality of and what I put under the ones that I showed you is that I put cardboard down, because I want to be able, number one, it's going to help kill the weeds that's underneath it, and number two, it'll degrade, it'll break itself down, and then it can be used in the garden, and it won't keep the good things coming up like the earthworms and everything to get into my beds and all that. So that's the difference that I'm doing. So I'm out here, so I just wanted to show you. So moving forward, and I don't want this video to be very lengthy and everything, that moving forward, what I'm doing is that I'm working in the beds. I've got to, I got to do things. So as I come out here and plant, then I will weed these, I will cultivate the soil, I will turn it over, I will get the beds ready, and I will put the plants in, and then we'll go, then I'll be able to go with that a whole lot easier. So it kind of gives you an idea of that what I'm having to do and what I'm going to be doing this year. So I'm hoping that moving forward, it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to have a better curb appeal, and I can't wait for you to see what it looks like, the finished product, when everything is up and everything is growing in here, and to kind of give you an idea. So this video that I'm showing you and everything, that what I'm doing out here in the garden, there's a lot going on out here at Dave's Raised Bed Garden. New fencing, a new gate, I'm putting, I'm doing more curb appeal. There's a lot of things that'll be going forward, and what I can't wait for you to see is that when everything's completely finished, all the vegetables are in, I've got a lot of growth out here, and then we can go through the gardening process and I can show you everything that's going on here at Dave's Raised Bed Garden. And another thing that I'll be talking to you later on, there's future videos, I'm going to be talking again to you about container gardening. You can actually do that now with the cool weather, because if the containers are small enough, you can take them inside and so forth. So that's really effective for people that maybe will not be able to have a raised bed garden or a traditional garden, but need something on a smaller aspect. Maybe you're a widow, a widower, or a single mom, or somebody, or just a couple that doesn't want a lot but they want some vegetables. That's what we want to be able to give you, and to be able to show you what we're doing out here, and kind of give you that aspect. So that kind of gives you an idea of what I'm doing. So I'm going to be talking about container gardening, also hydroponics some more I'm going to be talking to you about, and then also out here on the gardening that I do out here at Dave's Raised Bed Garden. And I just thank you for being a part of Dave's Raised Bed Garden. It's just a beautiful time of the year. The leaves are coming out, the flowers are growing, and it's just so good. The only downfall is that if you have allergies like me, is all this crazy pollen. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great day, a great rest of the week. And until next time, this is Dave from Dave's Raised Bed Garden. Take care.